This video was brought to you by Thunderful. If I haven't been to your house since she hid your contrabassoon, I cannot possibly know where it is. Literally anywhere. I'll talk to you later, Dad. Hello?
Have you played Viewfinder yet?
Speaking.
This is Magnus Bloodstrom, King of Thunderful Group. I believe you know this and are being cute.
Me? A furry blue monster? Cute?
It is unwise to be cute with powerful executives, and even more unwise with kings.
Hey, what can I say? I am my authentic self at all times, and even executives and kings can't change that.
How about sponsors?
How may I serve you today, my liege?
Have you played Viewfinder yet?
Oh, right. Well, not exactly, but if it helps, when Matt Stark posted that viral tweet of the tech demo back in 2020, I did retweet it.
That does not help! Play the game and inform your audience that it is now available on all major platforms, including Nintendo Switch.
Okay, sure, I'm, still working on this Pokemon review, but alright, I will take some time to play Viewfinder. What? You deleted Pokemon again! I already had Viewfinder installed!
Just being safe.
It's great when a game, a puzzle game especially, can hinge almost entirely on a single idea and still work. When that one big idea is so strong that everything else can successfully be built around it. Well, Viewfinder's one idea isn't just strong enough to carry a whole game. It is shockingly clever, a dazzling achievement all on its own, and makes for a puzzling experience that boldly stands out from the crowd. Viewfinder has you exploring a virtual world created by scientists who were developing all kinds of weird technology. I won't spoil anything, but you're looking for a certain device you and your colleague are hoping they created, which is a clever excuse to explore this strange world of theirs. The simulation is sorta real, sorta not. It's all very fantastical, but this was still a space where these people lived and worked. So everything's got a comfortable, lived-in vibe that's really pleasant. It's got all the environmental storytelling and gradual world building of something like a classic walking sim, so you know I like that. Different areas reflect the personalities of different researchers, and you learn about them by hearing their audio logs and reading their post-it notes to each other, which are all over the place, and finding bits from their journals. It's fun to learn about these people and piece together what they were doing. And going in, I was worried about what some people were saying about the chatty characters, but trust me, it's completely overblown. When you first start, you've got that colleague talking in your ear, but after that, they chime in only occasionally. You'll spend way more time with this talking cat, who's really cool. And I know, like, talking cat who follows you around and comments on what you're doing, it sounds like a bad idea. But no, I genuinely love this character. He's so soft-spoken and articulate, very charming. He seems to really delight in observing you and talking about the people who used to live here. So between the colleague, the cat, and the frequent audio logs, there is a good amount of dialogue, but it all works. It all helps to tell the story, and it runs while you're playing, so it never halts your progress or anything. And I think the writing is good. I like how often the game dips into more contemplative, even philosophical themes. It tackles some serious issues, but always with hope in mind. The atmosphere is very peaceful and friendly, but tinged with a certain melancholy. The game is just a nice place to spend time in, really. The art design is just so lovely. Excellent atmosphere. Pictures and paintings are naturally an ongoing theme, and this is reflected everywhere. I love the splashes of color and the occasional changes in color palette, the paint smeared everywhere. It's very striking, especially against these expansive backdrops. Creativity itself is a big theme as well, and this is also abundantly clear in both the set dressing and the dialogue. It's a game about big ideas, which is obviously quite appropriate. As far as performance goes, playing on Switch definitely comes with some compromises. Visual fidelity takes a hit compared to what I've seen of other versions. The frame rate maxes out at 30 FPS with some occasional hitches and slowdowns. You get the poorest performance when riding the monorail between areas, though this is an incredibly small thing. And overall, I'd say the performance totally gets the job done. It is a compromise, but really not a big one. It all still looks really nice, it plays great, and this is a perfect game to carry around with you and mess with at your own pace, so Switch is a good choice. But let's get to that one big idea. I was so happy to see that tech demo from those crazy tweets got turned into a whole game, because this is pure magic. Viewfinder centers around the concept of taking pictures, holding them up, and kind of imprinting them on the world, overlaying the game's reality with the picture's reality. It is getting harder and harder for video games to surprise me, harder to find ideas that are truly unique, and especially ones that feel impressive on a technical level. But this is one of those rare instances where you get a single taste of a mechanic and you gotta take a moment to process what you're seeing. Your mind is suddenly trying to grasp at the possibilities of what else this mechanic could do. And of course, it's one thing to have a good idea, but it's not worth anything without proper execution. And yet Viewfinder absolutely nails everything it sets out to do. This mechanic just works. I don't know how, but it just works. It allows you to copy and paste and delete and replace huge swaths of the world with all of this geometry with the simple press of a button. It's instantaneous, casual even, it's just no big deal. Just boom, this picture is real now. You can walk into it. Apart from some mechanics introduced later in the game where you're, purposefully limited for the sake of a challenge, beyond that, there are no limits. If you've got a picture, place it wherever you want, and it will become reality. I mean, I seriously can't get enough of it. It's like even after playing the game all the way through, the novelty still hasn't worn off entirely. Each and every time I do it, it feels great. It's just too cool. And I love how this idea is potentially very disruptive to the levels themselves, This lets you alter that geometry in the wackiest ways. You can use it however you want. You can make an absolute mess of things. But the game's got this really convenient rewind system. You can rewind like it's a tape, or you can shoot straight back to when you placed a photo, or took a photo, or even picked up a photo. So there's no penalty at all for experimenting. It's such a crazy, powerful tool, yet you can play around with it all you want. You can tinker with a solution until you figure it out, or you can just mess around with pictures because it's fun to mess around with pictures. Then it just becomes an awesome toy. And the game plays with the big idea in so many fun ways. There are more than just simple photos. Sometimes an image will be in a very different style and you get to see it come to life. The puzzle design is superb. It takes the concept one step further each time. And because that design is so laser focused, you're just so curious to see where they take it next. As you go, you slowly gain more and more control over how you acquire these pictures. You start by just using the ones you find, and that's already so satisfying, but then you find stationary cameras, and eventually you even get your own mobile camera and can take any picture you want, and the possibilities are endless. You've got so much power in your hands. Oh, but then often you're given a limited number of shots to work with, so it can be tricky. You gotta take and place just the right pictures. So the complexity slowly grows. There are more and more layers to the picture taking, and it's so immensely rewarding each time a new layer is added. It's the very definition of a think outside the box game. And it's not just about taking pictures. There are other perspective puzzles throughout, multiple similar mechanics that work together. Like the entire thing is about messing with your sense of visual and spatial reality in a number of ways. Sometimes I was forced to think so outside the box that when a potential solution started to form in my head, I almost rejected it. And when it ended up being the solution, my response was, "You've got to be kidding me." The game is so clever, it's almost infuriating. Where do you get off coming up with puzzles this genius? Now, depending on who you are, this may seem like a downside, but not for me. The puzzles rarely get too complicated. This is such a twisty-wisty kind of mechanic that they probably could have done some crazy stuff with it, but it stays relatively simple. The solution is usually more about figuring out what the game wants and understanding its logic than doing a bunch of mental gymnastics. If you're a hardcore puzzler, you may wish that the game challenged you a little bit more, but I think it's perfect. Here there are precisely enough of the bigger head scratchers that I gotta stare at for, a little while, but never too long and not too often. And Viewfinder's overall vibe is so pleasant, the presentation is so nice, the primary mechanic is so satisfying, even at its simplest, that I'm very happy with this level of challenge. I've been learning recently that apparently I really like that sweet spot. And I really do think this better serves the premise of the game. It's not about proving that you're a genius. It's about understanding how the game works and applying that understanding everywhere. Often the solution is staring me right in the face, but the rules of this place are so strange that it takes me a bit just to remember how this one element works. And it feels obvious in retrospect, and yet the process of remembering and applying that knowledge is rewarding in its own way. Viewfinder will last you about 4 hours, a little more if you want to hunt down all the collectibles and do the optional challenges. There's part of me that maybe wishes it were a bit longer, but it also feels like it explores its ideas to a very satisfying degree and stops before they get old. I'm not saying there isn't more that could be done, and I certainly hope to see a big sequel someday, but it does everything it needs to do and says everything it needs to say. And if it wasn't already obvious, I had an amazing time with it. Viewfinder presents a genuinely fresh and incredibly novel idea and successfully builds an entire game around it. Even in this oversaturated modern gaming landscape, it managed to surprise me again and again. It develops this idea in ways that frequently left my jaw on the floor. It's got the surreal vibes and patient, contemplative attitude of classic walking sims and old-school adventure games, which is a particularly huge plus in my book. It's a great experience. Of all the viral video game tech demo social media posts to get turned into full games, I sure am glad this was one of them. The fridge? No? The upstairs bathroom cabinet? No? Okay. Oh, you found it? Where was it? In the case. Huh, that's a pretty good hiding spot. Oh, I gotta go. Yellow?
Have you played Viewfinder yet?
Yes, I have. I just finished editing a whole video on it and everything. Soon my viewers will know with absolute certainty that the game is now available on all major platforms, including Nintendo Switch.
Good. This pleases me.
Okay, well, yeah, so, thank you, Mr. Lord Bloodstrom, for the opportunity, and, I'll talk to you later, I guess. Is that Steam World Heist 2?
That is Steam World Heist 2.